I have been waiting for this figure for so long. Scorch is, I want to say my favorite Delta Squad member, but truthfully, I love all of them equally. I'm like a parent. I can't pick a favorite child. I love Scorch, though. He has the deepest root to my childhood because of that original Saga Collection figure being single-packed. Obviously, he was the first one I got. And I love him. I think his design is sweet. I've always had such a soft spot for Scorch. I think he's great. And finally having a 6-inch Black Series figure of Scorch made from this really fun action figure mold. I'm going to start this video with saying this is, I'm pretty sure, my favorite Black Series clone trooper. I think it is. Because I love Boss and the other ones, but this Scorch kind of goes above and beyond in ways that the other two didn't. And looking up, I would say the only other ones that come close are like Bly and ARC Trooper Echo when it comes to like being really good figures. Like those are really great. But man, this mold, the Hunter mold, everyone's always complained, oh, it's not 100% accurate, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's the Republic Commando armor. Hunter wears Republic Commando armor. It's just ever so slightly tweaked to be Hunter in the cartoon. And the Black Series figure was a realistic interpretation of that. And these figures, you know, if this is the compromise we had to make to get these, I'm okay with it. Scorch actually, like I said, did go above and beyond. They gave him a new backpack, a new weapon, and his little canisters over here. Like, they gave him all of his gear. I cannot say the same for the other commandos, because they were based entirely on their Clone Wars appearance. However, Scorch seems to be the only one that, you know, takes a liberty, because he did not have this in the Clone Wars. I was not expecting him to have these on the action figure. I was absolutely not, and I would have been totally okay if he didn't. However, they gave it to him. He has them. You know, he didn't have them in the Clone Wars, but he did in the game. So if you want it all to be Clone Wars accurate, you're probably going to have to heat up the leg, pop the knee joint off, and slide this off, because it's like a separate strap that's on his thigh. So that's not entirely accurate to, you know, Clone Wars, if you want it to be super Clone Wars accurate, like all the others are. But I don't mind. I don't mind. He's got a new gun, which we'll talk about per usual. But this box, like I said previously, I think is cool. I think this is a pretty cool looking box. However, like I said, I did, you know, speak on the plastic-free packaging in an entire Taking Toys Too Seriously video, if you want to check that out. So, you know, the pros of this, you know, it helps the environment. It still kind of looks nice. But Scorch especially has a couple cons with this package. There's his bio, by the way, if you want to read that. But basically, one of his cons is he's the only plastic-free member of Delta Squad. All the others are in window boxes. So if you're a mint-in-box collector, number one, I'm sure you're not even really collecting Black Series anymore. But number two, you know, if you get all four and want to keep them in the box, Scorch is the odd man out. That sucks. Kind of wish they would have made Scorch with a window box. You know, that would have been kind of nice to have at least the whole set all coherent. This is kind of like a Simpsons DVD situation, if you know about that. One of the Simpsons seasons was like a big Homer head, and all the others were like nice, normal DVD packages. I might have called them CDs earlier. That's my bad. But yeah, decent box, but plastic-free has its pros and its cons. So, talking about Scorch himself as a figure, I love this thing. It has a couple little issues. You know, it's a Black Series figure. It's not going to be perfect. But let's address the first issue that I address in all of these Republic Commando videos. Tiny gun. He's got a tiny gun. How tiny is it? Well, let's bring in the 3 3/4 inch Scorch. Oh, wow. It's pretty much the same size as a 3 3/4 inch one. That's not good. I will do more comparison with these two a little later. I just wanted to show how, like, that gun size is almost the same, man. It's kind of scary. But the gun, I mean, it's nicely painted, and they added a lot of paint to this. You know, it's Scorch's gun. Looks cool. Looks nice. However, too small. So, Kickapoo Ninja sent me 3D printed resin upsized weapons. I don't remember the exact source of these. I don't remember the file or the maker or whatever. I was just sent them. So Unfortunately, maybe someone in the comments will give more info on those, but I just can't remember, man. And I don't want to particularly endorse something in case it's, something I didn't deal with, and then it's, kind of bad, and people are going to be like, why'd you say this, blah, blah, blah. I got them, and I like the bigger guns, okay? That's where I'm going to leave it. But still, that's one complaint. And, some people may be like, oh, it doesn't have the elbow pads. I'm not too worried about the minor inaccuracies of this mold. Again, like looking at the 3 3/4 inch ones, this is the articulated Scorch. He didn't even have the thing on the side, and he was supposed to be based on the video game, And many of the others, no Fixer figure before the Black Series had the helmet attachment. No Boss had the additional shoulder armor. None of the Republic Commando figures have ever really been super accurate. However, one thing, he doesn't have the yellow butt. No yellow butt. That's kind of a disappointment. And also looking, I don't know if this is a Clone Wars thing, but you can see on the Republic Commando design, he's got yellow and black, like going around the leg that kind of connects to the inner thigh, but it doesn't really seem to be doing that here. I'm assuming that's a Clone Wars element of the design, but it's Scorch. You can tell it's still Scorch. Still has like the yellow striping and everything. He doesn't have the white on the feet. Again, I'm not sure if that's but he has them on the back of the feet. So again, I'm not sure if it's a Clone Wars to Republic Commando difference or not. But I know he's definitely supposed to have the yellow butt, because you see it in Bad Batch. He's supposed to have it. It's just not here. It's like the sculpt and everything is pretty well separated. You probably could just paint that yellow if you want, but I'm personally not too worried about it. I'm just not worried about it. I do want to point out the color difference, because he is far more black and yellow, and this is more like dark gray and yellow. In my opinion, like just from my mind's eye of what Scorch is supposed to look like with his color scheme and everything, I think the Black Series is a little more accurate with the gray. Like, at least in my mind's eye, that's what I envision. It does have the little blue at the tips, which I think is cool. You could probably nitpick the paint applications apart and, like, compare it to the Clone Wars and the game, this, that, and the other, and be like, oh, that's not right, but this is right. But, it's... You look at this and you're like, this is Scorch. They did a pretty damn good job. I really love it. I really love it. This figure's so fun. It's such a fun mold to begin with. I mean, just posing it around, I love the articulation on this mold. It's so fun. The backpack does not have the issue Fixer did, where it wants to keep falling off. This is pretty firm on his back. I mean, the head articulation is so great. He moves so well. Like, you can get him in the traditional, like, Republic Commando squat poses. A lot of people say this mold's too thin, and it's not big and beefy enough. I mean, yeah, I could use a little bit more bulk, I suppose, but me being a very big fan of Republic Commando for years and years, these do it for me, man. I've said in every review, I can forgive the shortcomings of these Black Series Republic Commandos. I personally can. I can understand if you cannot, but I personally can. This is a video where I'm showing it off. If you have issues with the paint applications, with this, that, and the other, missing yellow butt, that's your problem, and that's a valid problem, I'm not trying to, not validate your concerns and complaints with it, but I'm just saying I'm fine with it. I'm not worried about it. I really do like that they included that, though. I always thought that was a pretty important detail for Scorch, and I like the little red arrow, and I like the texturing for the holster and everything. It's cool. It's cool. I just love this thing, man. It's Scorch. This is Scorch. I always like the blue visor, how it's metallic on these. It's just so nice. I do want to point out it took a whole year to complete the team. I do want to point that out. So that's is what it is. It also took a year to complete the Bad Batch too. So again, it is what it is. I do want to point out though, the articulation seems to be pretty solid still. No mold degradation. I do want to go over it because this might be your first time looking at this figure. I mean, just look at this, man. It's Scorch. I love it. This Scorch. It's Scorch. It's him. Okay. Double ball joint at the head. You get a lot of range of articulation with it. Oh, Scorch. I love it so much. Your shoulders are on ball hinges as well as butterflies. You can move the armor out of the way or in the way if you want. Like some people, if you kind of like get the shoulder armor shift it a little more forward, it does kind of bulk them out a little bit if that's something you want to kind of correct. Elbows are a nice, little over 90 degrees. Still have some nice motion at the wrists there. This one goes up and down, which is very useful, especially all that down motion you get. The waist, I've always thought the waist is so good on this mold. You get so much motion with the waist. The legs, I mean, they're like modern clone trooper legs, so you have to like move the thigh swivel out of the way to get it forward, but you can still bend the knee forward and, you know, still get a good knee bend. The ankle, you know, moves up decently, down, you know, get the pivot. This is my favorite Black Series figure right here. I think this Scorch, this very figure is my favorite Black Series. Because I only really do the clones anymore, you know? I only really do the clones. And the Boss was originally my favorite. And then I got Sev and Fixer, and I'm like, oh, I really love these two, but I want to wait for Scorch. And then I got Scorch, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. That's it right there. So I do want to speak on one other thing as I assimilate the team. It is the cost. Even though it's coming out after this video, I actually already filmed my review of the Battle Droid, because I did get the Republic Commando Battle Droid. I already filmed my review of this one, and I spent quite a while talking on the cost and the pricing, because the Battle Droid is harder to justify because it's such a smaller figure and it comes with less and it has less going on. So yeah, the Battle Droid's harder to justify. However, Scorch was the same price, $30, $30 for that Black Series Scorch. I touch on it way more in the Battle Droid video, so stay tuned for that if you want even more of a rundown on this. But it's a lot of money for an action figure, it really is. You know, I got this Battle Droid, you can see, as a bit of an accessory for him. You know, he's just going to be dead. He's going to be dead right next to him. That's his duty. He dead. He's the dead one. But still, like, getting this team together and everything, I love these. You know, Fixer, let's get him a little more. I want to make sure he's not, like, in the shadow, because I love Fixer. I love that Fixer. I love all these. I love all these. I'm happy I got the Battle Droid. I'm happy I've got them all. But yeah, it's definitely something to keep in mind. You know, these are very expensive. Daniel East 1000 did an awesome video running down the entire squad. If you want to check that out, actually, I highly recommend you do. He discussed the pricing differences where, like, some are cheaper than others. And they're even more expensive over in the UK. Like, Scorch was about $30 after tax, which is around 25 pounds. And it's about 30 pounds in the UK. And you can kind of figure that out on your own. Yeah, man, they're expensive figures. They really are. But seeing Delta Squad right in front of me like this makes me so happy. Sure, they're more based on the Clone Wars. Sure, my boss is an error where I didn't get the dots on his chest. Surprisingly, that doesn't bug me. Like, I don't look at it and get all stressed out about it. I don't know why. And yeah, there's cut corners. They're not fully accurate, but this is my favorite grouping of Black Series action figures. If I got rid of all my Black Series, these would be the last ones left, including that Battle Droid. Like, I would want that as, like, an accessory for these. These are my favorite, by far. If I ever decide to purge my Black Series, including the Clone Troopers, these ones I don't think are going anywhere. I love them. They are great. They're fun. They're posable. They look the part for me, and they just resonate with my soul. This Scorch is great. This review definitely has a more positive tone than the Battle Droid one does, because I struggle to justify the price on that. And I'm doing a whole video here soon talking about my rants and my quarrels with collecting. I've already filmed that, actually, so that's probably why I'm a little more relaxed here, because I don't need to get out all that ranty energy. But I love the Scorch, man. Sure, it was expensive, but a figure like this is really worth it for me. And I guess at the end of the day, seeing the Battle Droid there and, like, completing this display, just having him be a dead accessory for Boss to hold, it makes me happy. This makes me very, very happy. I love these guys. They're so great. I hope Hot Toys makes them so I can spend $1,000 on them. I love these. Can't recommend them enough. Go get yourself these. Sev and Fixer is still readily available. Boss, he's not really available anymore. Like, as, you know, he came out a year ago. But I'm sure you could still find him for a decent price. You know, he hasn't been out of the market for too long. Get this. Get these. Love them. Scorch is definitely my favorite among these. They put the most effort and detail and deco into Scorch, and it pays off, because that Scorch looks absolutely superb. Love it. Alrighty, guys. There we go. Thank you so much for taking a look at my review of the Black Series Gaming Greats Republic Commando Scorch. Love it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Special shout out to channel members as well. Channel members were able to see this video early. Channel members, I make sure they get little treats and, they get early access. If you want to be a channel member, awesome, but you don't have to. I appreciate any support I get. Alrighty, guys. Have a great one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.